Got it. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Home Position, the podcast where we talk about all things Formula One from the comfortable position of, the various rooms in our home.
Every single room.
We are your hosts, Javier and Leslie Rodriguez, and today we are joined once again by Marissa Troy and Abraham Plato. They are here talking to us about, Marissa, our resident expert on all things design and livery, is here to talk to us about the super fun helmets that we saw at the Miami Grand Prix. And we're also going to cover the Miami Grand Prix a whole week later.
And this is two episodes in a row, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yes, we just had Marissa. If you missed the last episode, you need to go back and listen to Marissa talking about all of the kind of in general helmet design and livery for the various teams. And this is going to be more specific to Miami because it just so happened, like it was good timing on our part, because it just so happened that we released that episode right before the Miami Grand Prix, and then everybody decided to do something fancy for Miami. So
there was such hype for it. Like everybody was just going crazy about Miami. Obviously, it's like the first time that they run it there, but I feel like there was a lot.
There was a lot.
And there was a lot of like the NFL team where the circuits by the stadium, so the Dolphins were kind of having drivers over and doing stuff, and then the Miami Heat and like.
I mean, Miami's a lot already.
Sure.
Like without Formula One, Miami's already a lot. So the fact that you put Formula One there, plus like, I don't know if you remember last year at COTA, but all of the celebrities who didn't know a thing about Formula One, but were just there to do the celebrity thing, So I think like coming off of that, they just knew that it was going to be a spectacle. And so they just kind of went for it.
I mean, you're in the United States, so you have to make it a show.
I guess so. I was a little annoyed with the coverage. Like a lot of the foreign coverage, I saw at least two instances of two different media outlets from other countries trying to do like gotcha journalism with American fans, like trying to see how much they really knew about Formula One, or like, are you really a fan? And I was like, this is annoying. Like, we're trying, guys, come on.
There were some that they were interviewing people like, so how many corners the circuit has? And like the guy's like 4 19.
Oh yeah, exactly.
But I mean, it's a show. It has a fake marina with fake water. So what do you want?
Yeah, as far as design goes, what did you think of that, Marissa? The fake marina in the middle.
I know they got a lot of flack for that, but to me, it was very American, and it was very like they're in Florida, so it kind of reminded me of Disney. Like it's just fake and fun and not taking itself too seriously. So to me, I thought it was fine. It didn't bother me, but I know it did bother a lot of people.
It didn't actually like show up in the coverage a whole lot. Like I expected from aerial views to see it often, but I feel like it didn't really come into the coverage all that much.
Yeah, I noticed they'd cut to certain parts of it. Like they had mermaids in the pools and they kept cutting to those. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, there were complaints about how much the cameras were showing fans when there was actually something in the race that needed to be seen or some action. Anyways.
I heard about that. It didn't occur to me at the time, and that's probably because I'm used to watching American sports where you do just cut away to fans often. But yeah. The coverage is never great, right? There's always like cutaways to stupid things right when something important is happening.
And anytime that it's like a major network that it's doing the broadcast, it just gets messed up. Like it's like Monaco last year, there were commercials in between, and you're like, what the hell is happening here? Like what,
Yeah.
Anyways,
that's coming up.
Mistakes happen anyways, but it was, again, I think it was a fun weekend of Formula One, just because there was a lot of hype. I think drivers were really excited to be there. Obviously, like what we're gonna talk, there was a lot of like design and integrating like Miami style into their helmets and colors, and just like the whole thing was cool.
Yeah. Are we going to talk about design first or the race first?
Let's get the race over with.
Okay.
And then we can.
And then we'll get to the good stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, the race at least for me, I was expecting Leclerc to win, obviously.
I think we all were.
Yeah. We did watch the F1 kind of debrief of the race, and it showed how very early on Verstappen was able to make the right decisions to get to to pass Leclerc, and then he just never let it go. And Red Bull was just the best car this weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, I had doubts that Verstappen was even going to finish the race because he had so many issues in practice and everything.
I thought so too.
Like in our fantasy league, I did put Bottas at 4th because I was convinced would have at least 1 or 2 DNFs that would boost him up. And
not that he'd be there on his own merit. It would be the DNF.
He could. He's amazing, but his car is not as good as. No, I think he might be my favorite driver. I've realized.
For the world to know, we have our own.
Love it.
We have our own fantasy league that Abraham created a spreadsheet so we can track the points.
It's awesome.
It is cool. It is
so cool.
Yeah. Now.
And we call it the League of Champions, right? That's what it's called.
That's what he named it.
I like it.
Since we're talking about Bottas, do you buy a poster of his butt cheeks getting sun in Colorado?
I saw that picture. No, I'm all set on a butt cheek poster. That was funny.
I mean, those butt cheeks probably don't get much sun.
No.
He's from Finland. Second, he's a race driver, so he's sitting on it all day. Third, one of his hobbies are to go and run on like bike rides with his wife, so he's again sitting on it all day.
Okay, Bottas's butt cheeks aside, I didn't find the race all that interesting.
Yeah. No, it really wasn't.
It was pretty boring. At once Verstappen got ahead, that was pretty much.
Yeah, the safety car, they bring a little bit of like kind of interest back into it once he was able to kind of pack everybody together. And there were those like few incidents, the Vettel and Schumacher crash, and the Lando and Gasly little, crash. And
that was a big one.
Yeah. So there were those things that kind of threw a little bit of entertainment into the race. It sucked for Schumacher. I thought he was going to score points.
Yeah.
He was so close.
He deserved it.
Yeah.
Had a great weekend. Qualified really well.
Yeah.
And it seemed from the analysis, so we watched Jolyon Palmer's analysis on F1 TV, and it seemed like it was surprising to me that they didn't give any penalty for that. But Schumacher clearly thought that he had the corner, and Vettel, it looked to me like Vettel had it. So it was surprising to me that there was no penalty for Schumacher, but that was a bummer.
Yeah,
I do love how like nice to each other they kind of were, because they knew who they hit. Like any other combination of drivers crashing, it would be like, F words here and there, and like what is he doing? What is he thinking? What an idiot or anything. And these two were like, oh, I didn't see him. I guess that's it. Like, Schumacher was like, I thought it was my corner. Oh well.
Whoops.
Yeah.
I do wonder if like their friendship is played up in the same way that like other enemy situations are played up. Like, are they really that close? Or
I hope they are.
I think they are.
Really cute.
Yeah.
I love it.
I think they really are.
Yeah.
I can just see next season of Drive to Survive, that moment is going to have its own episode, and it's going to be like families torn apart.
Yes,
right.
The beginning of the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna have to find some drama, because at the moment, Verstappen and Leclerc are still being super nice to each other. So congratulating each other and joking around.
They're like
and
enjoying the competition.
Yeah. What even happened with Hamilton? I can't even remember.
He
got past Bottas at the end.
Yeah, but then he ended up behind Russell because of the safety car. Once again, I think that's got to be.
He had a forgettable race, it felt like, and I don't know. I thought George Russell was kind of cool because he asked to stay out. He was like, let's wait to see if there's going to be a safety car.
Yes, he called it.
I was like,
he totally called it.
It was cool that he made that choice and it paid off for him. I kind of look at him a little differently now. Like, oh, he really knows what he's talking about. And he made it really
always.
good call. Not always.
Like, yeah, it's not always going to pay off. So he definitely got lucky in that situation, but there wasn't a whole lot for him to lose anyway. Like he started 12th. And so the fact that he made it on up there, and he was going to have to pit at some point. So yeah, that was super impressive.
He's the only driver this season that has finished top 5 on every single race.
Right. I really thought he was going to break a streak this race.
Yeah, so he's very consistent.
Good for him.
You know,
and
with a car that is not so good.
Yeah, I mean, he was consistent enough in the Williams car, Mr. Saturday and everything else. So it's good to see that, you know, he's able to hold his own against Hamilton. And I mean, that's not even a question at this point. It's like, you know, he's doing great.
Yeah, so I think, I mean, overall, I think that the race itself was maybe underwhelming, but the whole environment around it was really cool. And like, there was a lot of hype. I really like that chicane that all the drivers were complaining about because caused a few crashes. But I think like if you make a track, like you want to have like one of those like very difficult, yeah. So it's not just like they're just like going. They actually have an area where anybody can mess up and could like completely change the course of the race. So
there were a lot of complaints about the slipperiness of the circuit as well. Just because it's brand new.
I wonder what are they gonna do though? That does that stay there? Like they had to build. So
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know how it works.
I mean, I imagine they're gonna run other races besides F1 on it now that it exists. Like
I think it's temporary. I think they're taking it down. That's what I heard.
Because it's right outside the Dolphin Stadium, so there's parking lot and like you know, like.
But they are leaving the
marina
garages. The marina. I know all the garages are saying, because they were saying that they're converting those into like food stands when they're not being used as garages. So
maybe
that
just parts of it
at least.
I'm sure like putting asphalt to an area is not overall like thinking about everything that needs to be done is not that difficult.
Right.
I don't know.
But I mean, it's going to come back because they have more years at Miami. So
right. Yeah.
If that race had happened at Paul Ricard in France, it would be very boring. It would be confirmation of like, yeah, that was a boring race.
Yeah. Again, I think that the environment and just like the showmanship that the American media can put into an event. Kind of made it so much better.
I liked the battle between Sainz and Perez at the end. You really, you know,
just
kind of like really hoping for, in our case at least, really hoping that Sainz would pull through, which he did. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, and he scored a podium after a series of like bad luck stuff. So that's good.
Yeah, I was really happy for Sainz. I mean, he's had a really rough go of it recently. Yeah, and it's nice to see him succeed and maybe build his confidence back up.
Yeah, he needs to deliver now. Like he's in a really good car. Things are working for Ferrari, and obviously last season he finished ahead of Leclerc, which probably nobody thought it would happen. So now I feel that he has, at least me as a fan, he has kind of let me down. Like he hasn't been there to kind of help Ferrari and obviously help Leclerc, and he's getting the wins, do better.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's Perez's fault because Perez played such a good wingman role last season that I kind of want Sainz to do the same.
Yeah, kind of sets that standard.
He let Verstappen right on by right at the very beginning. Speaking of wingman, so that was disappointing.
Yeah.
I mean, according to Jillian Palmer, there was really nowhere he could go. I just remember watching it happen and being like, "You're not doing anything. He's just getting right past you in like the turn one."
Yeah.
All right. So I think right now is a good moment to take a break, and then we'll come back and we'll go with the only segment that our podcast has right now. It's Wicked Design with Marissa Troy.
Wicked Design with Marissa Troy. Yeah. Okay. Take a break.
So what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say one more thing, and that is, speaking of people letting us down and like letting us down, as if like Sainz has done something terrible. He's great. He's gonna pull through. But Daniel Ricciardo is having a real shit season.
Yeah.
And this Colton guy who drives for Indy is doing that McLaren test. I don't know if he already did it or if it's coming up, but anyway, he's test driving a McLaren, and his like super big goal is, his main goal is to get into Formula One. And so like there's a lot of buzz and talk about maybe McLaren like looking at tapping him for Ricciardo's seat.
I mean, he has been really bad since he left Red Bull, really.
It's been a disaster.
It's been a decline. I feel like like last year was kind of rocky, and this year is just
I mean, he won that one race, and that kind of gave him a little like, okay, maybe there is something there, but he really hasn't delivered much more.
And part of that is certainly the car. Like you can't, it's clear pretty even with Lando that like this car is just not doing a whole lot this year, but at the same time, like you can only blame the car so often. Like Hamilton has a shit car this year, and he still was able to like get up there in the points a few times already.
Or Russell,
exactly.
Yeah. And Lando's obviously getting a lot more out of it than Ricciardo is.
Mm-hmm.
So
right.
As long as he stays away from Gasly. So all right.
So we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Yes.
All right. So like we said, we're going into our main segment of the podcast. We're going into Wicked Design with Marissa Troy.
all right.
So yeah, there is so much to see in terms of how much the drivers were trying to incorporate the whole Miami look into their helmets, and they were also doing a lot of stuff outside of the track, you know, like shooting basketball and like playing football and all that. So I'm sure a lot to talk from the design standpoint. So Marissa.
All right. Well, there's almost too much because I counted 12 drivers that did different liveries. I mean, different helmet designs. And Bottas did 3 helmets. So that was 15 Miami helmets for one.
Wow.
Which is a lot. So we're going to hit the highlights, not every single helmet.
Perfect.
Okay.
That sounds fair.
Oh. Why is it not going here?
Click on the screen.
Okay. We're good. So these are some of the helmets I'm not going to talk about. So Perez, Schumacher, Alonso, Albon, Gasly, and Verstappen all did helmets. They all did bright colors. A lot of them are Miami Vice themed, palm trees, sunsets, that kind of thing.
I see a Red Bull theme there.
Yeah.
Like the Red Bulls were not very creative. I mean, they incorporated some things, but
they're interesting and I like them, but they don't say anything.
Right.
Sure.
You know, they're just colors. Like I actually really love Verstappen's helmet, but it's just his helmet with Miami colors.
Right.
It's not creative to me.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we'll skip him. I did really like it though.
What is the like dragon with Schumacher?
That has to do with his dad.
Okay.
A Chinese newspaper ran a story about him and included that dragon symbol in the article. And so Michael Schumacher incorporated that into his helmet, and Mick has used it in his helmet as well.
Got it. Okay. On to the good stuff.
Okay. So there weren't a lot of liveries this time, and I was really surprised. I was just hoping there'd be a surprise on the Grand Prix day, and there really wasn't. Mercedes did kind of a partial Miami livery. They did a special livery to celebrate their partnership with the crypto company FTX. They had the rear wing, halo, and winglets designed by artist Mad Dog Jones, but the rest of the car is just their standard livery. Mad Dog Jones also created 11 Mercedes AMG themed NFTs, and they've started to auction those off. So they just auctioned off 3 NFTs, as well as the rear wings from these cars. And Mercedes proceeds are actually going to their Ignite Foundation. So they're using these sales to promote their own foundation, which is an initiative that aims to improve diversity and inclusion in motorsport. So that's
super cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
Javi, have you put your bid in yet for one of the NFTs?
No, we've crashed. No funds.
It's funny, like I still don't really get what NFTs are. I get it's a non-fungible token, and I keep trying to read about them and I don't really get it, but
Javi has one.
I mean, you can mint
he
them.
made
So
one.
Any of your art that you make, you can mint it into an NFT. But like, it's weird sometimes to just think about it, and this is completely out of the theme of our podcast, but it's like a JPEG, but you can prove that you own it, and it's just, but it's like, only one museum has the Mona Lisa. I can take all the pictures and make all the reproductions of it, but it's not the real thing. It's the same thing with the NFT. They can copy the screen or copy the picture all the times they want, but the NFT proves that that's the original.
Interesting. Yeah. These NFTs actually went to the site where they were auctioning them off, and they have music attached to them and also little animations too.
Wow.
The first auction just ended, so the first 3 have been sold, I believe. But throughout the season, they're going to release more. So if you want to try to get one, I imagine they're going for a lot of money or whatever currency.
I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, maybe one of our sponsors will want to give us one.
Or when we make it rich, investing in Luna.
Yes.
Anyway.
All right.
Moving on to the real thing.
So AlphaTauri was one of the teams that did a display livery. Unfortunately, they didn't run the display livery, but they had an artist that goes by the name Remote, also known as Jay Bellicci. He's a Miami-based artist, and he used the colors from AlphaTauri's spring and summer fashion collection as inspiration for this design. It's funny, when I looked at it, I was like, this looks really familiar to me, but I don't know why. And Abe was looking over my shoulder and he's like, it looks like that 90s paper cup design. And that's all I can say.
Exactly that.
It's spot on.
When I looked at that cup, I thought that was the inspiration. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so crazy. Why did they pick that cup?
I was about to say, like, what you said, like, it was made for these artists, and I was waiting for you to say, like, he designed this paper cup.
Exactly. That actually gives me some appreciation for that cup.
There are some hardcore fans of that cup design. I learned when I was trying to find the designs, like purple, purple and blue.
How did you find that?
I forget what I looked at, like purple and blue cup, and people looked for it, so it was easy to find.
That's so funny.
It has a lot of fans on the internet. I mean,
I remember that cup very well.
Yeah, same. So AlphaTauri always does things that are themed to their brand. I don't think they care about being super creative or original. They use their team almost as a marketing tool, and which is why they used their spring and summer fashion collection colors for this livery. Actually, Gasly and Tsunoda also spray painted helmets with this artist, and those will be auctioned off or have been auctioned off as NFTs. I don't know. Again, I don't really get it. But I
don't know how you like auction off a physical
physical
item as an NFT, but whatever.
I did try to look it up, but I couldn't figure it out. So
maybe it's like a certificate. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So the proceeds from that will support the Wings for Life Foundation through their partnership with Phantom. And the artist Remote also designed Tsunoda's helmet. And it's exactly the same design as the display livery. They didn't run a super special livery for the Miami GP, but they did paint the like interior of the car, that like headrest area.
Oh, cool.
And that's actually how I learned about the display livery. Is I noticed that, I think during quali when I was watching, I'm like, that's not normally there, is it? And that's how I found the display livery. I wish they could have done the whole car, but I'm sure it's a paint thing, like the weight of the paint.
The weight of the paint.
Right.
Everyone cares so much about that. I'm like, I just want pretty cars. I don't care.
Who cares about the performance?
Exactly.
Give us a good looking car.
So
that's cool.
That's that. Williams also did a display livery that was Miami themed, created by the artist Surge. All these artists have these like
one word.
Names. Yeah.
Seal.
Remote Surge.
Yeah. He came up with this really cool, cartoony, vibrant car design. I love the flamingo with sunglasses on the side.
Awesome.
Really cool, bright colors, a little bit different than like the Miami Vice colors everyone else was using. And Williams obviously did not run with this livery. They did put this M that Surge designed with these Miami themes in it on the car. And that M is the W from Williams flipped upside down that he then put some Miami stuff into.
Okay.
And then I have to talk about this. Williams updated their livery. Duracell is one of their sponsors as of February, I believe. And now they have the Duracell battery as the air intake on the car. And
looks like a battery though.
Well, it does, and that's great, but it's so ugly.
It is ugly.
Thank you. People online were saying they liked it, and I was like, maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe I'm just really cynical. But how does that fit with the blue and the red? I don't understand. I mean,
it looks like a vacuum.
Yeah, it does.
It's not
well,
cute.
and they are the team that has been struggling with paint and weight, so they have stripped the paint, so they really have no space to put or change anything.
Right. Yeah, they've stripped a ton of paint off their car.
But I have to say, like, it's ugly, but it's cool how they did it.
It's clever.
Like,
it's clever.
It's clever.
I have that in my notes. It's ugly but clever. Like, I appreciate that they did it.
Yeah.
But
but try again.
Try again. Yeah, like it was a cool idea. I'm glad you tried it, but maybe not. I think they should have incorporated the copper from Duracell into the car. Like maybe take the red out and see what a metallic copper.
The red does not look good with the orange.
Doesn't work.
No.
So that's all I have to say about that. Lando Norris went with a
very cool
fun helmet.
That was awesome.
I love it. It's just a basketball, but it's beautifully rendered. It looks like the texture of a basketball.
It looks really real.
It looks 3D too. Like
it does.
It looks like it's made out of leather. And
is it not? I'm not convinced. It looks real.
Oh, maybe it is. I don't know. I
have no idea.
It can't be.
It can't be. It's got to be paint.
Yeah, I think, and Norris is just kind of cool because when he was asked about his inspiration for the helmet, he said, I think it's quite obvious. It's just a basketball. I kind of knew everyone's going to go for palm trees and boring stuff. So he wanted to be original with it. And he was. He stood out.
It's because of the purposing. He's just like bouncing.
So that's really funny you said that because he also said maybe it would have suited George more considering they like bouncing a bit more. I thought that was really funny.
Oh, so cold.
Take that.
And the other teams had a lot of fun on social media with his helmet too. Williams posted a picture of Albon holding the helmet as if it was a basketball. And Mercedes on Twitter tweeted a picture of Michael Jordan with Lando's helmet. I love that kind of stuff. I feel like you don't get it with other sports, that playful banter online. It's just kind of fun.
Yeah, it's true. I think just because there's so few, I feel like all of the social media people for each team must know each other personally.
Yeah.
And they're just like digging each other constantly.
Yeah, I love
It's so
that.
funny when I see that picture of Albon and Latifi. Like Formula One drivers are not necessarily like physical specimens for athletes, you know, like you know, they have to be quick with their reactions and stuff. It's not necessarily like you see like a lot of muscle and tissue there, but you see these guys like they look like whatever, like they don't look like they can play basketball very well.
No. I mean, look at Jordan next to them. I'm like,
yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah, he looks very scrawny. I love the he needs a helmet on his head, frankly, with that red hair.
Yeah, what's the design opinion behind the choice of color there, Marissa?
I don't know. I know the red hair has been kind of a good luck charm for him.
I got some points.
So I think he'll probably keep doing it. So that's Norris
for all of us. Yeah, that was cool.
That was cool.
And Ricardo also, obviously, he had to do a fun helmet, and he had to be original. So he did an Ace Ventura Pet Detective helmet, and I've never seen this movie, so I don't really know the references.
You have to watch it.
They're young.
Yeah, the humor probably doesn't translate right to this like era of humor. I guess
it's a totally different
over
style.
the top. But it has funny parts. Anyways,
it's
so
ridiculous.
That's what everyone
totally
says.
Daniel Ricciardo. Yeah.
So it was modeled after the Hawaiian shirt worn by Jim Carrey's character in the film, and he included the Miami Dolphins logo and a Daniel Ricciardo Pet Detective business card. So
the presentation really with the light and how like that was really cool. That was awesome.
He posted a reel on Instagram. I don't know if that's a black light or something. It looked so cool.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. Plus, he got to put his face on it.
Yeah, right.
Who else put his face on it?
Extremely on brand.
Absolutely. Bottas is the first driver to run with three helmet designs for one Grand Prix.
Are you serious? The first one ever?
That's what I read. I hope I'm right.
I believe it.
His girlfriend, Tiffany Cromwell, designed all three, and he had fans vote to determine which one he wore on which day. So he wore his helmet titled Miami Art on Friday, his retro helmet Saturday, and his pool party helmet on Sunday. Which is fun.
That's awesome.
He's having fun. He's having
fun. He's having a great season.
He just seems really happy.
Yeah, I agree. You know? I agree.
I mean, he's going skinny dipping in Colorado. What else do you need?
Right.
How much happier can you be?
Right. That's like Javi's version of heaven right there.
Yeah, you're in the mountains, in the river, naked.
Like need nothing else in life.
What else?
It's the second time we've talked about naked Bottas.
I know.
It's noteworthy. We have to discuss it.
Yes, this is the important newsworthy stuff that our listeners are wanting to hear.
That's right.
Oh gosh. This is cool. I did not see this one.
This is Joe Guan Yu.
That's
So
awesome.
he is a basketball fan, and he actually uses the number 24 when he races in honor of Kobe Bryant.
Oh.
So I think this helmet has significance to him. He really likes basketball. So it looks like a Space Jam inspired helmet.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
With like a bunny holding a basketball, spinning a basketball on its finger. It's really fun.
That's awesome.
I really like Joe Guan Yu, and I hope he really develops as a driver and we see him for a while, because he seems like a nice guy from what I've seen. And he seems to pick helmet designs that are really meaningful and personal to him. And I enjoy that. Like with his main helmet, he has a Shanghai skyline like in the background, and he seems to really care about like the designs that he wears.
Yeah,
That's cool.
He also seems mature.
He does.
Like he hasn't. I remember last year at this point with Tsunoda, another rookie. Like I felt like it was like, okay.
But we
down.
talked about him. He's a little clown.
Well, and they make him clownish.
They do.
Like I feel like the media coverage makes him clownish, but also he's just kind of a jerk. Like
he's an ass on the radio.
Yeah, even in this past race, he was saying like, "Shut up and let me drive," and it's like the engineer's trying to help you, my dude.
Yeah.
Like, calm down.
Yeah, I know adrenaline and all that stuff, but I don't like when the drivers are rude to their team.
Yeah, for what? Like they're trying to
for
help
no
you.
reason at all.
Yeah.
Like they were asking at the time, like, tell us about the car. Is there anything that we need to adjust? And he's like, shut up, let me drive. Like, you shut up. Like,
right.
Yeah, and then like 10 minutes later, he needed their help on something, and it's like,
right.
You want them to help you now? Like, yeah. Anyway, so yeah. I agree with Joe Guan Yu, and I've actually in our League of Champions, I always want to put him in the top 10 or as a wild card, because I'm always like, I want him to be up there, but then I also want to win points, and I'm not entirely confident that he's ever gonna be in the top 10. So yeah.
I mean, he's been there at least. So.
I've put him there a few times, and I'll keep putting him up there. I like Alfa Romeo, so
yeah. I mean, they've got a car that's competing for the midfield, so
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And Vettel. Okay, I had to include the picture of him with underwear on outside his uniform because it's just funny.
Worth noting.
And his shirt. I mean, the whole message is great.
Yeah. So
what does the shirt say?
It says Miami
Grand Prix underwater.
First Grand Prix underwater.
Miami 2060. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Act now or swim later.
That's brilliant.
So he has a very cool helmet that looks like it's filling with water with a snorkel attached to it. He's very into environmentalism. He likes to point out the hypocrisy of Formula One, and even like his own hypocrisy that he participates in it while being an environmentalist.
I think there was something I read about him, like questioning himself on like, I'm wasting all these resources traveling to all these places and wasting stuff just so I can race cars. So
but he must appreciate like the platform that it gives him to talk about these kinds of things.
I agree. And if you want Formula One to become more environmentally friendly, you can't just leave it. You have to help it grow and change and push it in the way that you want
from within.
You have to do it from the inside. Absolutely.
Yeah. Also, it's worth noting that it's great to push for Formula One to be more environmentally friendly, but Formula One is a tiny drop in an ocean of what's actually damaging the environment. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And the underwear, we just have to talk about that really quick. Like, what's happening?
So he's protesting FIA regulations regarding what they can and cannot wear. There's a regulation that they have to wear flame retardant underwear. Because if they get, caught in a fire,
you don't want those balls on fire.
So
protect the family jewels.
I'm not entirely sure why that's worth protesting. Like, I'd love to know why
why does he?
I would have just done it for a laugh. Like,
maybe he did. I mean, it's hilarious.
I would think so.
I think they were protesting like the changes in the regulations in general.
Yeah.
Because Hamilton also showed up with like all that jewelry, and he was protesting the jewelry ban.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And he continues to, I guess, use the Ukrainian colors.
He does.
Didn't go away.
Oh yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
cool.
As a driver, like I don't care much about him, but as a participant of Formula One, I think he's pretty cool.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising that he's not more competitive. Like, obviously, Aston Martin has one of the worst cars in the grid, but as a 4-time world champion, you just kind of expect him, kind of like Hamilton, to just be able to coax everything possible out of a car, but he just doesn't seem. I mean, it might just all be the car. It might just be Aston Martin.
Yeah, it's not a good car. Now,
but he has had some. Anyway,
since we're saying this, do you guys think that Audi is gonna take over? Is Lawrence Stroll going to sell Aston Martin to Audi?
I wouldn't say no to that.
Yeah,
I think so.
I wonder if he's gonna look for a way out.
I think
that's
so.
his graceful exit.
Yeah,
right.
That's the way to stop spending money on his son.
Yeah.
I wonder, like, I was actually thinking about this today for whatever reason, and I wonder if he will like negotiate in a sale that his son has to stay on for at least one more year, and then it's not him kicking the son off. It's
right.
Audi or
yeah,
whoever.
That's possible. But if I was Audi, I was like,
no thank you.
We'll go buy a different team. Yeah,
Pass.
he can be
Vettel
a
will
reserve
stay.
driver. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I wonder if Vettel will stay. We'll see.
Yeah,
but cool helmet.
Yeah, and that's it for the helmets and liveries. Actually,
that's amazing.
For one Grand Prix, it's a lot, because I mean, you know, they don't do it to the other ones.
Yeah, it was more than I expected.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're gonna have to do
for Las Vegas.
Oh,
that was gonna be crazy.
Yeah,
that's gonna be insane.
It's we're gonna keep doing this segment, and then one of the teams is gonna tap Marissa to do their helmet.
Oh,
one of the guys. This segment is gonna become famous, and Marissa is gonna become the expert, and she'll wind up with her art on one of the helmets.
Wicked design.
Yes, right.
Wicked design.
That's awesome. I bet we're gonna have to do this again for Monaco, because my guess is with Monaco last year, with all the different, you know, they did the same thing as that they did with Miami. So that would be my bet, especially with like Ferrari doing so well and Leclerc doing so well, and him being from Monaco. Like, I'm sure that they will do something.
I hope so. Ferrari doesn't tend to do much.
That's true. I shouldn't say that, because
they need to, though. I don't know why they don't. Ferrari is so cool, but they don't act cool.
They're just like above it. They're like too.
Ferrari
too
doesn't
cool.
need to advertise.
Yeah,
it's just so strong.
But they could have fun. It's fun.
Well, yeah, that's true.
It's funny to watch. What's his name? Binotto. Is that the?
Yeah.
In the Netflix documentary, because he's just like, he's so above it. Yeah. He's just so like.
He speaks Italian. He's like,
never speaks English.
Fuck you,
but he does speak English, right?
He can. Totally does.
He just
but all his interviews, he just speaks Italian because he's
hilarious.
Ferrari.
It's hilarious. Yeah, it's very on brand.
Yeah.
All right.
He's solid. All right. So, Leslie, you finish it up.
We've got Spain coming up next, which is very exciting. Home turf for Carlos Sainz and Alonso. So we'll see what happens then. In the meantime, if you want to get in touch with us, you can reach out to us at homepositionf1 on Twitter or Instagram, or homepositionf1@gmail.com. If you agree with us, or if you hate us, if you have anything to say, anything you want to ask Marissa, or say to her, applaud. I don't know if she made a binder this time around, but the presentation was amazing, and we're going to put this up on YouTube. So we will have the link, right, Hadi?
Yes, we'll do that. And Marissa, share with us your Instagram information so people can follow your art.
At Marissa Troy.
Perfect.
Awesome. We will see you guys next time.
All right. See you later.
Bye.